Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
Hello.
We've had our Brewtiful sabbatical. No, it's been a bit.
Yeah, but what did Ron just say? It's not as normal.
I said hello.
I know, he didn't
but
do
that's not as normal.
I know.
Fine.
You're supposed to say what's happening.
What's happening?
There we go.
Thank you.
Now we can continue.
I can't change it up at all?
I don't know. It's tradition.
Yeah, it is tradition. I always say hola. You always say, hey, what's happening?
I know.
And Norman's like, hey, what's happening from Beijing or from Taiwan or from wherever you travel?
But you're actually here right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you shut up. You were the one that actually traveled last go round.
Well, no,
Yeah,
we both did. We
Yeah.
both did.
Out to Alaska, tried some cool beers, ran to Seattle. So we've had a bit of a Brewtiful sabbatical is between
I like it.
vacation and work. You guys enjoyed more cool beers than I probably did during that period of time.
We did try some awesome beers.
We tried a ton of beers.
It's been hot as hell down here, and I think I've broken a record for shower beers in consecutive nights because it is friggin' hot in
it's
Central
been
Florida right
brutal
now. I've literally just hopped in the shower, cut the water to like lukewarm, brought in a beer, and shifted slowly the water down to just straight cold. Like it just acclimated to it.
That's
Like
the worst.
just there we go. It was so freaking hot, so hot.
So hot.
So we got an episode where it is time to jump back in after a few weeks here Premier League to see where things are sitting at after week 5. A little MLS and a little NWSL. Boom.
There's a lot of material.
There's a lot of stuff to cover.
There is a lot of stuff to cover, but we are going to start with one thing that you failed to mention.
It's your beer pick.
No, we're not going to go with my beer pick yet. That's not how we're going to do this right now.
Nope.
What we are going to go with, though, is a bet that you and I made several pods back. I don't remember the exact episode, but just you can download us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, any of those things, and you can have a listen and find out the bet that we made. But essentially the bet was, would Wayne Rooney score more than three goals in his MLS first year when he signed back in, what was it, July, I think?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I bet that Wayne Rooney absolutely would score more than 3 goals. And you said, there's no way Wayne Rooney, 74-year-old man, Wayne Rooney would score more than 3 goals.
It was actually more about, to be honest, DC United being pretty bad at that point in time.
At that point in time.
Yeah.
Well, currently, Wayne Rooney's stats in 14 matches are 5 goals and 6 assists.
Oh.
So, Mr. Blake.
You sure it wasn't, he wouldn't score 4 goals? Because it's too late. Now it's 5.
It's definitely 5.
No, it doesn't matter
Definitely
anyway.
5, even if it was 4. So, you were wrong, which it happens. But you happen to make a very stupid bet. Specific bet. The single Moo Thunder by Butter Nuts Brewery out of New York, sitting in your beer fridge
From 2017.
2017. That we made, yes, from 2017
When we had it.
But wasn't it like from 2016?
I got to look
No,
at it. When the
Horse
can
Lap
comes
was.
out, we'll check.
Okay.
I think it was even old when we had it.
Okay. Well, regardless, terrible beer, absolutely terrible stout.
It was our strike 2 of the 3 strike butternuts because we started
You're
with
accurate,
Horse
yes.
Lap. Then later we tried the Moo Thunder. That was terrible. Then recently we tried the Snapperhead IPA.
Yeah, that was the one that we
IPA.
which was,
is,
I got to be honest.
all of their beers are called Farmhouse.
I'm
Toilet water.
curious. Because the Snapperhead is more in my recent memory as to how bad it is.
I can't wait.
I think Moo Thunder's better.
yeah, out of the 3 we had, I was going to
that
probably
was
agree with you
bad.
on that. Better in like the sense of the word, like I would rather take a bath in a tub of scissors better. But no, I get what you're saying.
Oh.
So with that, I was able to go into your beer fridge and find in the very back right corner
It's in the darkness.
a lovely dark bottle with a very happy cow and his
can.
udders all can. You're right. Can with his udders hanging out of the can almost.
That's Moo Thunder from the source.
I present to you one Moo Thunder.
Oh, snap.
And look at on the can, it says all malt.
All malts. Copyright 2005. Well, thankfully, but I don't know what was the sell by date there. Oh no, this was packaged 10/22/2015. I just verified that on the bottom of the can.
Oh man.
Alert. It's coming. I can't wait.
I pass it off
All right.
to you. God, I love Wayne Rooney so much. I should have worn my Wayne Rooney jersey today.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna have this beer before we get into the beer. Well, I'm gonna have this, and then you guys are gonna go into, the actual good beer.
Well, while you're drinking that,
I'll go ahead and crack this mother scratcher open. I just was curious. Like, I thought I'll pull up Beer Advocate real quick, since we did that with the Snapperhead, and there were some funny reviews, and I'm just trying to see.
Oh my God, this can is so old.
It's 2015.
It's
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're coming up on almost 3 years of this bad boy.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
It's fun.
Well,
it's fun.
Let's say no. It's packaged of October 22nd
Correct.
of 2015.
Correct.
Here we go. Here's a 1.83 out of 5 review. In my utter pants,
Oh God.
pours a black color with an off-white head that quickly dissipated and no real lace to speak of. Decent clarity when held to the light and left a reddish hue. The nose is mostly astringent, malty notes with some off aromas. Easy to pick out the roast and black malts. Some noticeable black marker that is a big deterrent for me. Noticeable black marker as a smell. Oh my God. Some minor yeasty notes.
What's happening?
What are you doing?
Our sound effects department
Our
is
sound
having
effects-
technical difficulties over there.
Let's see. It says some minor yeasty notes in the background with a hint of earthy and soapy hops.
That's what they're calling it
Soapy
nowadays.
The flavor is a little subdued from the nose, some balance to the
A little
astringency.
subdued.
Some toffee and off caramel notes blends with some coffee and stray flavors. Noticeable black marker again. There is a lactic quality that gives a milky sourness that is just off. Stays in the finish and leaves a filmy aftertaste. I shouldn't have read this first. The body is a moderate to light, hard to pick out with the roast and sourness. Overall, this was just off in so many ways. An utter undelight. It ended with a dad joke. I like that review. Oh, man. Oh, these reviews are brutal.
I can't wait.
Oh, my
Are you going to film this, Ferris?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Oh, man. Okay, here we go.
Well, hold on. All right. So, are you just going to pop it open and start going to town?
I'm going to pop it open. I've gotten myself a nice glass.
Okay.
So we can see how
Because
thick and
I
chunky
want to
it is.
see how bad it looks.
Okay.
And also, I'm giving it a chance. I'm putting it in a proper beer glass that's meant to enhance aroma. I'm giving it every chance to be a good beer.
Okay. So let me ask this: if you were going to sit there and you're just going to drink it, may I introduce the beer that Ron and I can have while you do that?
I mean, he's got to drink the other beer too.
I think I need a clear try of this first, and then you guys do yours.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. So I'm just going to go ahead. And here we go.
Stand by. Hold for show.
You guys are jerks with your cameras out. All right,
God,
let's
look at that. Oh my God! Look at that right now.
Oh yeah, turn the can.
I'll turn the can around.
Yes.
Now, Ferris, when he lost a bet earlier, 2 seasons ago, when I said Arsenal would end higher than Man U, you did this, but you mixed it with ice cream, thinking it would improve it.
He created a sea foam mess.
It was gross.
You know that really vomitous sea foam?
Now, that was not part of the prior bet, so I didn't make it part of this one. Here we go. Let me pour this astringent thing into my glass.
The soapy mouthfeel.
Here we go.
Oh God, it's got quite the head on it.
Jeez, it's got
Good God.
a lot of head on it. It's very brownish head. Ferris is having flashbacks. It smells like
Oh my dear Lord in heaven!
you know how, like, Ron, when you're doing homebrew
Yep.
and you have poured out, and then you poured it out like from the fermenter, and you're like, those hops smell so good.
Yeah.
And then you start mixing it with dish soap to clean it. That's what it
It
smells
doesn't
like.
even smell like yeast cake,
No.
because yeast cake actually smells.
Yeah,
all right.
no, that's what it smells like. It smells like, oh man. All right, y'all. I can't quite I'm gonna try pouring it in my glass, but it's got a lot of head, so I'm just gonna take this.
God, look at
First
all that
sip
head.
right
it
now.
hasn't. It's like it hasn't gone down whatsoever.
It's got good head retention against all odds. All right.
That's 2.5 years of sitting in that
Mind
can
you,
head
do
retention.
you remember when we tried Butternuts Beer and Dale.com? It didn't even show up that time we tried this.
Correct. They didn't have a website for like 2 years.
No. All right, here we go. Don't.
Oh
God, I can smell it.
Are you drinking out of the can or?
Well, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a lot of head there in the glass. I'm gonna take this last little bit out of the can. Ah, the smell is awful. All right, no, let's open minds, open hearts, and open minds. I'm gonna try to give this a fair shot.
No. Better you than me.
He's speechless. He doesn't know what to say.
If you took chocolate,
Sure,
mixed it with old milk and a food processor with black licorice and a little soap, I think you're getting close to the flavor. God bless, this is awful.
I love that it's punishment beer.
Oh, man. The problem is I just want to down it to get... You know what's angry? Makes you angry about it? You can get the chocolate notes at the end as an aftertaste. You're like, well, see, that's pleasant. You're just pissing me off because the first part is so bad. Oh, God.
not just what you're having out of the can. You still have all of that left, too.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm going to...
Oh, my God, there's so much more.
Oh, there's so much.
Oh, my... Oh.
Oh, my God. Now,
For Ferris, this is a lot like the last time he got wasted and yacked everywhere.
oh, yeah, you like... And then,
And
like...
he couldn't drink that.
And
whatever
someone
it was.
hands you oh, they give you like a salsa again, and you're like, no, I can't. The last time, yeah.
I can't even remember that, but I sure as hell can remember the last time that I had this beer with that freaking ice cream.
Look at this.
That is so nasty.
Look at this head just
That
sitting.
is
Oh
so
God,
nasty.
it's so gross.
Ugh.
And again, this is all malt, which it should say on a stout. That IPA they had is that IPA still might be worse.
Oh, this is just brilliant. So the next time we do this this kind of bet with Snapperhead or whatever, we're gonna have to allot a time
No,
like time penalty.
Doom. I'm hitting the gavel. We've done this now.
Yeah.
There's a next step. I'm gonna buy another 6-pack of Moon Thunder. Next person that loses a bet, we do a little half and half. Snapperhead and Moon Thunder, like a freaking snake bite, or whatever we do to Guinness and Smittix or whatever, like that. Boom.
Right.
So you can see it separated and seep into the. That's gonna be a step up. That's what's got.
But we've got to do it under. You can't finish the beer under this amount of time. So then it really gets to warm up.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Why do we want to do this to ourselves?
I don't.
Sounds terrible.
I don't think. Well, you got to up the stakes. But here's the thing. I don't think it's necessary because my mind says. Ugh, my mind says. God, it's so bad. My mind. My mind says chug this, and even just saying that makes me want to Ralph. My mind says finish this off quick. But my esophagus, oh God, is like and clenches up. So I pull it to my lip, and it's like a hard liquor where you can only sip a little bit at a time. That's all I can get in. I don't know that a timer to finish. I don't know if it's.
I just want to know what it's like when it's warmed up.
I might find out.
You better.
Because right now
That's
it's
why
pretty
it's
cold.
partially why
It makes your
partially
cheeks- Ugh.
why I put the ice cream in it is to keep it somewhat cold throughout.
It makes the cheeks I feel the muscles of my cheeks get tight and go. It's like if you were to get stabbed, your muscles are designed to collapse around whatever foreign object is there to not let it. And that's what my cheeks are doing. I start drinking this, and it's like, and it goes in like a. I don't want to. Oh my God.
Oh, gross.
Oh my God. All right, Ferris, get your friggin' beer out and then have a good one.
It better be a good one. Because that's
Anything's better than that. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It'll be even more torturous to him because he can't drink the good beer. He has to drink this.
I think I'd throw you out the window if it was like an App 12 from St. Bernardus or something like that.
Oh my! I should have.
why didn't you do
I don't
that?
know. You're out. I should have.
The next beer, West Veletrin.
I wouldn't even put that in my mouth. I wouldn't even take a sip with this. With this aftertaste, guys, it's like old Tootsie Roll under like a
Cotton
gym
candy.
sock.
So we just let me see that Tootsie Roll.
It's like, it is a Tootsie Roll under a pile of gym socks. That's what it tastes like. You know, Tootsie Rolls have fake chocolate taste. That's what this
Yeah, like
has.
that waxy.
It's not right. Like it's not like ooh chocolate. This has that fake. Oh my God.
Okay.
You're gonna smell
right.
it. Ron just took it to smell it.
No, you're dumb. I ain't doing that.
I'm not drinking it. I'm just smelling it.
It's like smelling salts. I could put it under your nose if you passed out and you'd wake up.
Or if you're sick, it's like vapor rub.
Oh,
Let's get a little Moose Thunder on the chest there. You'll be good to go.
it's so bad.
That's great.
Ugh.
All right. So
I love when you guys make dumb bets.
Oh, man.
yeah, so far we're the only two to have made the dumb bets. Ron's like squeaky clean over here all of a sudden. All right. So this is a beer that I received from a friend of the pod, Mr. Brad. He was up in the Kentucky, Southern Ohio region for some family vacation and brought back a lovely 6-pack for us to try on the pod. He knows that we are obviously big craft beer guys. And he brought back a beer from Mad Tree Brewing Company in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Ooh. Why am I saying, ooh, that sounds awesome? I don't
you
get
can't
to
have one
any.
yet. Now, what the good thing about this is Brad wanted to try one, so he had one out of it. So now there's 5 left, which makes perfect for this pod because Ron and I can have a beer, and then there's exactly 3 left. So you
Then I can have 3.
then you can have one, and you can have one when we have the other one. So Mr. Ron, let me pass one of these off to you. This is a
it's old chocolate bread.
no, it's a mix. So there's 2 beers on here.
If an old man drank a bunch
Take that one, Ron. Yeah.
of like drinking chocolate, like thick melted dark chocolate, and farted in your mouth.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This is what this tastes like. Because it's such a weird. Oh god, this movie is so bad.
So we'll go over the next one.
I like the name of the beer you just pulled out.
Yeah, pretty cool. This one is
Entropic
Entropic Theory. It's an IPA sitting at 7.5%. I'm trying to find it on their site because I didn't know.
They have slogans on the top of their cans, which are pretty awesome. From tornadoes emerges sharks. From chaos emerges order. From fermentation emerges beer. Those are pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So the one I have later I can find, but this one I cannot find.
Mad Tree.
Mad Tree Brewing.
Right. Mad Tree Brewing IPA. It's I just lost it. 7.5 India Pale Ale.
Not a double, just a regular.
Just a regular.
It's
Just regular.
so hard to talk after you take a swallow of the Moose Thunder.
And this goes with there is another beer in here because again it was a kind of a mixed pack that we'll go over in a second. But I don't have a whole lot of info on what this one specifically is.
But you have info on the brewery?
I do. Their website is madtreebrewing.com. They don't really have a about us thing. They just have where their tap rooms are, the different beers they have currently on tap, the different beers they have available that are seasonal, their core beers. They have about 4 or 5 core beers, a few seasonals that are currently out, and some that are just draft only, and then some limited releases as well. What are you laughing about over there?
Go ahead. I don't want to besmirch this beer about Moose Thunder. Just do your beer. I don't want to.
The can is pretty slick. It's got like circuit board pieces on it. It's a cool design for a can.
Yeah, it's a beer that I want to drink.
And you can't. All right, Ron.
Shall we crack it?
I think we should.
Guys, your even sounds better than mine did when you tapped it.
Well, this one isn't from 2015.
Ooh, I didn't even smell it, and I smell it.
Woo!
There's a lot of hops.
Yes, there are.
Good, because I'm going to need something to peel the inside of my esophagus off after I have this.
Ron, are you going to do yours?
Giving it a pour so we can see the color?
Yep.
It's a nice pale straw color with a decent amount of head, and it's not filtered, so
it's
not really nice and cloudy, and it smells amazing.
I would say not a lot of light going through that thing.
Right off the top, the smell is like the hoppy citrus pine. It smells.
I love the design of the hop graphic on it, like
Yeah, it's
out
pretty
of a
cool.
circuit board. That's so cool.
It smells amazing. All right, shall we?
Absolutely, sir.
Guys,
Can for this time.
Longiva.
I'm not gonna cheers.
We gotta
you.
go with Blake.
I'll do an empty hand. I'm not gonna
Okay.
touch your beers with my. You don't want this.
God bless you. Thank you.
Ooh,
Mm.
That's probably going to taste like the best beer I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, you're getting a different beer the next one because there's a different IPA that we're trying from the same brewery next.
So this one has right off the top.
Oh, so you did too. So I didn't get to try this one.
I didn't.
Nope.
Well, okay, I did not.
That's your penalty.
Let me preface this by saying I did not know it was two different IPAs. I thought the color cans alternated between the two.
That's
but it is two different IPAs. That's why I was having a hard time trying to find this IPA on the site because it's not there.
That's cool. That's fine.
It was some sort of mix. I did not do it on purpose, but now that I did it, I'm glad that I did it.
That's whatever, knocker. It's fine.
This one has a really good mouthfeel. It really hits you with the hops right up front. But just as quick as that hop flavor arrives, the malt really blends it out. And it's not until the aftertaste that you really get that hop profile back. Really, really well balanced. A lot of flavor throughout the entire palate as you drink it. It's really, really tasty.
I agree. Very, very tasty.
It's also very crisp.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is everything mine is not.
Very crisp, and it, for as unfiltered as it is, it doesn't leave like a finish.
No. But I will say you can definitely taste this at 7.5%. It is one of the more
At the end, sure.
Yes, it is one of the more stronger tasting IPAs. But very, very good.
It's
How you doing over there, Blake?
I'm not. I just tried to pick up the speed and it didn't work.
You should probably.
I would like to
try speed first and then do that.
Oh, I would like to get to the soccer, but first, I did just have to. I pulled up the Butternuts Beer and Ale website real quick, and I'm sure we did this.
And did your iPad just crash?
We've done it
we've done it, but and it's a whole. Our beers are noted for their finely balanced composition, and excellent taste, developed by unmatched small brewing process. Why allow your face to settle for anything else? Remember that?
Yeah.
That was their
tagline.
Yeah. So
gross.
I looked up their Moo Thunder description just because I hadn't read it in a bit. Our Moo Thunder Stout is a black beer with a creamy touch, brewed with a combination of 2-row malted barley and just a hint of chocolate malt and lactose to add body and a tasty punch to the finished product. This is one stout that will never be sent out to pasture. The only punch is the one I want to put in their face.
It's pretty ha. There's a reason it's our you lost a bet beer. Because it's terrible.
I do think the IPA is worse though. This is bad.
Having tried all three as well and having to do that one for a second time, I would agree with you on that.
They have a fourth one. They're Hefeweizen called a Heine Weiss. Think about that.
No, it's not happening.
No, we
3 strikes and you're out in that whole brewery.
We declared that.
I'm just saying.
Nope, there's no just saying. Their beers are terrible. Them.
Oh, man, this will be one of those pods where I have a ton of bleeps.
And it's still an insult to beers that are terrible, comparing them to terrible beers.
Yeah, I mean, this is just poorly made. All right. Whew. Okay. Let's move right along. I shouldn't take a sip before I talk. Let's move right along into I can't even talk. Ugh. To Premier League Week 5. Oh God.
Are we gonna have to take over hosting duties?
I just remember.
Take over.
I remember the noises when we talked that Ferris would make in the background. Now while he was trying to finish this thing down.
I don't do it for dramatic emphasis. I do it because it's actually your body just shoots out these voices and sounds and because of that beer.
Oh, okay. Premier League Week 5.
Week 5.
Woo!
In the books.
In the flipping books.
Officially today because there was a game today.
Yeah. So
it was actually a fun game.
Liverpool. Still looking good. That's our first match we've got lined up on here to talk about.
Liverpool looking very good.
They take on Tottenham 2-1. Tottenham, they still have all the pieces in place, but it feels like they're going to have another season where it feels like they have a season where they're going to have to fight to stay in the top 4.
Yeah, you would certainly think so.
And by that, I'm going to say 3rd or 4th. Like, I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, you would certainly think that they are going to fight to stay in the top 4. And I think mainly because they did not get any depth in the offseason. We talked about it on our preview pod. They didn't sign a single soul in the summer window. That's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily good either because you don't have any depth. And they're getting ready to hop into a Champions League run. And then whatever other cups are getting ready to happen in England. But the Champions League run and this run.
They need to get knocked out of that fast.
Yeah, which they very well may get knocked out of. You doing okay over there?
Yeah, I'm fine, man.
So they very well may get knocked out of that fast because they are coming up in their group. They have
Inter Milan.
They have Inter Milan, which is very good. They also have this little team called Barcelona, small team, and then PSV. Not an easy group. Now, they didn't have an easy group last year, but they did very well. Remember, they had Juventus and Real Madrid in their group, I believe?
Yeah.
And they did well. This feels like it's going to be a different season. When Eric Lamela is your only scorer in this game at home against a Big Four team, worries you a little bit. And that goal came in the 90 plus 3. So that came very, very late in the game. It was kind of a consolation goal there. I don't know. They have their spurts of being very good. They whooped Man United a few weeks back, just all over the pitch with Lucas Moura and Kane. And, they have a lot of talent there. But without signing anybody, without getting backup for Kane, without getting backup for Ali, without getting backup for Eriksson, can they survive an entire year of what they essentially did last year of Champions League, Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League? Can they do that? And they also got a big blow a few weeks back. Their stadium's not going to be ready. Their stadium was supposed to be ready for this game.
Yeah.
It wasn't. That's been pushed back to either the end of this year or 2019. That's a blow. When you're
That's
still
a
playing,
really late announcement, though. I mean, because it feels like if you're going that far back, you knew about this a while ago.
in theory.
And you didn't make the announcement before you sold your season tickets. That's kind of crappy.
Right, because this was supposed to be the first game that they would play in that new stadium. Instead, it was at Wembley, which they haven't done terrible at, but it's still not home for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road for them to hoe.
Liverpool still looking great.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think he got on this, he didn't get on the score sheet this game, but so far the talk hasn't been most solid this year. It's been Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
Mane's had himself a wonderful
Great
season.
year.
Already a couple goals, a couple assists. He's looking lively. He's looking strong. He's looking quick. Man, they are dangerous. The biggest thing, though, for them right now, they're only 5 games in, so yes, it's very, very early, but they've only conceded 2 goals thus far. That's a different Liverpool than last year.
That's a huge difference from the last 3 or
their
4
defense
years.
is
Yeah.
They haven't necessarily played anybody too particularly good. I mean, Tottenham was their first real test.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's still very good. I think Van Dijk back there is a huge just staple to that defense now. I think also having Allison in goal, which they signed in the offseason.
There might be one of the biggest signings as far as a single person making a huge impact.
Correct. And he had a little bit of a gaffe because he tried a Cruyff turn in their last game and it utterly failed on him. And they got it. That was one of their goals scored against
Don't
them.
say the word utter. Not while I'm drinking Moo Thunder.
Is it treating you well over there?
I would
How are we
rather
doing there?
I would rather drink the green milk from the space moo cow tit that Luke Skywalker drank off of in Last Jedi than this. That looks more appealing. Just saying.
So
How's that for a description for you? Your mind went there though. You saw it. You're like,
that painted a pretty picture. That's for sure. But no, and then I think lastly, their midfield. Naby Keita has been awesome for them this year so far. He can keep that form going all year. Liverpool make a very strong push to win the entire Premier League season.
So real quick, the delays for the Tottenham Stadium, the construction company named Mace highlighted safety issues, which is why they've had to delay 2 test events.
ooh, somebody has lost their job.
Yeah.
Good.
The Spurs themselves, the club, made the decision to activate the clause to move the games to Wembley because construction delays and problems with the, quote, critical safety systems. And allegedly, there are so many people on the construction site to help get it along that it's actually causing delays because there are people waiting to work on places where people are already working. So it's quite the cluster at the Spurs' new stadium.
Sounds like it.
Good grief.
It's a 62,000 seat venue, and it was supposed to hold an NFL game,
Oh, right.
Yes.
and that's also been
Going to be at Wembley, I assume?
yeah, that's also going to end up moving on October 28th. So it's more chaos for Tottenham.
Yeah.
Just follows
it's,
them
it's
around.
more BS in the background that it doesn't, not that that should affect the players, but it just,
Well,
if you're a fan of your supporter, it's just like, it's just more BS kind of floating around your team you don't want to deal with.
right. And they got handed a little bit of a blow for their upcoming Champions League game. Five of their players are out of their first tie against Inter Milan. Dele Alli, Kieran Trippier being two of those. Those are some big blows. Big blows.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned before we started, we're kind of doing a top 5 from week 5 as far as our matches are concerned, because we want to get a little MLS and NWSL conversation as well. So our second match we're going to look at, Chelsea 4, Cardiff City 1. Sneaky Chelsea moves into first place on goal differential.
Yep, up by 1.
Why is nobody talking about them like they talk about Liverpool?
I think from a fan perspective, we've all been like biting our nails. Yeah, are we gonna do well? Cardiff went up 1-0 on Chelsea.
They did, yeah.
In like the
Solid
16th
bomba.
minute, we gave up,
Which is nuts because they have not had a good run so far.
Yeah, and we just let them walk right in. But Eden Hazard, man, he hit the form in this match. He scored in the 37th, the 40th, 44th, and then a penalty, which was very coolly and expertly taken in the 80th minute. Willian also gets on the board with a really a diagonal strike from way outside, which was just brilliant. Hits that top corner. Chelsea is quietly better than everybody, including myself, projected. So we'll see.
Hazard is on fire.
Yeah. And
He's playing great right now.
all of our fears about which players were leaving, which ones were unhappy, that's all seemed to kind of dissolve. Willian is in the match. He's playing more or less like his, quote, old self. He's getting a ton of time. And he's the whole Pedro, Giroud, like everybody's playing really well.
Yeah, and I think you guys said it. I mean, Hazard is playing fantastic right now. Scored a hat trick in this game. He's key, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's the key to how Chelsea are going to do all year. If you remember, when he wanted to play for Mourinho, they won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, they won the Premier League. When he didn't, Mourinho got sacked. Because he then kind of, since he didn't want to play for him, neither did Costa, neither did a lot of the other team, and you can kind of see that fall apart. Same thing under Conte to a degree. I don't know if Eden Hazard ever kind of didn't want to play for Conte, but he was kind of in and out of the lineup. He was hurt a little bit. He was out for a period of time. He was that key, and he has been that key. So if he stays on this form all year, Chelsea can make a good run at it. Now, from the last time they won the Premier League a few seasons back, they have one slight difference. They are actually in European football this year.
Right.
They're not in Champions League, but they're in the Europa League. That's a long league to be in.
I hate that he wears the blue now because I still love him, but I really enjoyed the tweet that Men in Blazers put out during the match. If Giroud was not so beautiful, would he be more respected for what he is? A phenomenal team first footballer. He's been great over there.
Yeah. He really
Very
has.
unselfish. Very like.
Yep. And
I hate it because I know Arsenal fans just give him a ton of crap because he was a forward that wasn't scoring all the time, but he helped create so many chances.
yeah, he's been doing really well at Chelsea.
Hashtag beautiful French lumberjack.
Meaty French forehead. They're just firing relatively well. I think the defense needs to tighten up a little bit, especially between the two center backs. I feel like we get carved open down the center a lot, but the changes that Sarri has made, pushing N'Golo Kante off to the right, in the midfield has been interesting, but he seems to be doing well. I think it's arguable to say that he's doing better than he was if he was center mid, but what he's doing seems to be working. We're 5-0 and we're plus 10 on goal differential. I think it's going to be
top of the league.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch. Well, at the current time, watch Chelsea and Liverpool go back and forth. I think that'll be a fun thing for probably about a third of the season. And then right when we hit Christmas, that's when we'll really know if Chelsea's in it for a long haul.
Agreed. What has Chelsea's run of games been so far? Have they played anybody to really push them?
No, they've had a relatively easy schedule.
And that also helps this early in the season, but it helps in the fact that momentum can really start to kind of get rolling. It allows teams to get within that groove if they're getting victories after victories, and 4-1s, 3-1s, 2-2. They're starting to get those, not 2-2s, but like a 3-2. That all gets points and starts to build a little bit of momentum. So when they get into the bulk of the season and get into some of those top 4 matches, top 6 matches, there's some confidence there within the team.
Yeah. So their first match was versus Huddersfield. They blanked them 3-0. Then Chelsea came from behind to beat Arsenal 3-2. That was probably their most fun match so far. Newcastle, they beat 2-1. Bournemouth 2-0. But I would say that after the Arsenal match, Bournemouth was the next hardest match Chelsea's had so far. And then they just came back and walked all over Cardiff. But what's interesting is Chelsea's not, in the past few seasons, they're not a very come from behind team. This year, they've come from behind 3 times. So that's kind of nice to see that they're not just packing it in. And
especially when you don't have Diego Costa. That would always be the thing, right? When you were down, it was always Costa that came in and would score those goals to secure the draw or notch the win at the very end, or
right.
The really scrappy, almost accidental.
Off his pure evil alone, he scored. Boom. So this moves us over to, we're looking at Newcastle and Arsenal. Arsenal wins in Newcastle 2-1. Granit Xhaka and Mesut Ozil in his 200th appearance for Arsenal nets a goal. That's 104, 105 combined goals and assists for Arsenal in the red. 200 appearances. That's pretty good.
An Ozil sighting has been reported.
I mean, I know there's a lot of crap against Ozil kind of fading into the background lately, but that's pretty good. My take as an Arsenal fan, I like winning this game because it was ugly. But they scrapped through and won the match.
Not the best first half.
No, but it didn't collapse after that. They came together and won, and that's Arsenal has under Arsene Wenger in his last 5 years, Arsenal either played exquisitely beautiful in a game or lost. There was no kind of scrappiness to their play.
Right. Also because you would say, well, where did that come from? Why aren't they playing like that against
every
these
game?
Teams?
Right? Yeah. Why isn't it like every game? Right? And then they would right. But now I kind of like the scrappy win because you got to be able to. I mean, that's how champions are, right? You win when you're playing great is easy. When you're having an off day and you still find a way to win, that's the difference. So, so far I still have plenty to like off of our new, Arsenal under Emery.
And do you think? Yes, with the new Arsenal under Emery, there's also some new players. Guendouzi, or did I say his name?
Yeah.
Guendouzi's gotten the start for all the matches thus far.
I don't think he would have under Arsene.
Probably not. Torreira has come in a second half sub in each of those games, or a majority of those games. He came in a second half sub in this game. The game clearly changed a bit in the second half when he came on. Yeah. Should he be starting over Guendouzi?
Let me see one more match.
You can give it 6 games?
We got 5. Well, we're 5 in coming off of an international break. I don't know. Maybe. Also, having someone who can come in off the bench and have impact, that's not been something Arsenal's had in a while either.
True.
Despite the fact you could look down the bench and say these are good, but there hasn't been that. So I don't know, man. Either way, I think Guendouzi's a good guy off the bench too if you switch it around. So
I also think one of the keys to your attacking success is having Aubameyang and Lacazette
Oh,
on the field at the same time.
how much were we screaming that since last January, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And that has helped in at least the last two matches because this is now the third in a row. And I believe in each of those matches, they've started together. So that's certainly helped. At least in the last match, they definitely have. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if Emery can really get them clicking, which so far he seems to have been doing,
and look who
get them
scores.
clicking, that's a good thing.
But because they're clicking, look at who scores: Xhaka and Ozil. That's the thing.
Xhaka off of a free kick.
But it starts to open. Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but
but
like, it starts to open things up.
Right.
When people are peeling off.
Agreed. It's kind of getting. I think what Emery has to figure out is getting the midfield behind them figured out more, and to play more cohesive and more of an understanding of what their roles are, if that makes sense. I don't think the midfield is quite as cohesive as a top four Champions League team should be quite yet. I think they have the talent there to do it. I just think he has to figure out the right pieces. And that's where I say, do you think Torreira should come in and be that mainstay back there in that center defensive mid role? He seems to kind of have a little bit more energy, can control the ball a little bit better, makes more crisp passes. I'm wondering if he's kind of
vision. I think his vision of the midfield is better than Guendouzi's.
Right, and I think that could be where you start with your midfield and then build out from there.
I know it's early 5 weeks in to say something like this, but with the competition in the top four as it is, I would be so excited for the future if Arsenal came in like a strong fifth, even a sixth, because I feel like that would be guaranteed Champions League the next year or the top fourth the next year, as far as improvement goes. I still see a lot. The thing about Arsene, it's not even about like what he was doing then. It's just time to it was just time to make a change. It was time to do something different.
Yeah.
And that's really what was needed. And I mean, my thoughts were, I don't care. The next coach, if he's only here for a year or two, get the ball rolling to the guy that should be here. But right now under Emery, it's different. It's a little scrappier.
It's a marked improvement.
I think so. Yeah. Anything different was going to be appreciated at this point.
Well, and anything different is also going to require a little bit of time to be let into place and will allow the team to.
Well, I mean, we loved Jurgen Klopp when he first came in, right? But it took a couple of years to get to where he's at.
Same
now.
with Man City, Pep.
Pep, yeah,
Guardiola, yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that's Emery is going to do what they did, but I mean,
it brings hope.
Yes, which is just something that has not existed because every year it was, what are we going to do? Oh, this same thing. We're not going to hire a defender. Okay, that's cool. It's the same thing. It's like no center back again. Okay, no midfielder like we need. Okay. Actually, at the time we had like 20 midfielders and
True, yeah.
How's that Warmoo Thunder treating
How you
you?
doing over there, Skippy?
It's God, the aftertaste is just awful. It is like old dehydrated powdered Tootsie Rolls are on the back of my tongue. It's so gross.
Cotton candy, sweet as gold. Let me see that Tootsie Roll.
The good news is I'm down to the last inch. It's been nice talking about Arsenal. I've been trying to just drink as I talk.
Is that a euphemism?
To not pay attention to it. But it's pretty bad.
It looks bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
Well, that'll bring us over to a pretty interesting match to watch.
Very fun match to watch.
Watford versus Manchester United.
And you say interesting match to watch. Why?
Well, I was really torn between who I wanted to win.
Wow.
Well, it felt like Watford could have come back and drawn this at any time. It was that kind
late
of match.
in the second half. I felt like that.
I think that could have happened late in the second half, but I also felt like that could have happened probably, I don't know. I feel like Watford in the 15 to 30 mark, we're doing really well. And Watford, let's say this off the top. Watford's having they're punching way higher than their weight.
You lose.
And that's why it's interesting because they came into this match 4-0.
Every single one of us said Watford's going down this year.
Watford loses 2-1 in a good match against Man United.
Yeah.
You think about last year? Well, they were just had that streak of bombing. This is huge. Yeah. This is still, if you're a Watford fan, there's still a lot to love in that match.
Yeah, there was a lot competitive about this match. It was by no means, just finished.
God, it's like my beer that's not finished. Oof.
Romelu Lukaku has a right place at the right time kind of goal in the 35th. But Smalling's goal, oh my God.
Almost the goal of the week. I think it got surpassed today. And it's not on our list. But we should talk about that again.
Well, that was surpassed in the MLS with Mr. Zlatan.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a little
for
bit.
his 500th. But a fun match.
Yeah, that Smalling goal, I'm sitting here because, long story short, my work schedule right now has changed kind of late. So I missed the prior matches and was up for this match. Man, I got jumped off. I'm not a Man U fan. I jumped off my couch for that Smalling goal. That was awesome.
And what was more
that was awesome.
Impressive was that it was coming from a center back.
And that he caught it off his
He's not
chest.
a striker. He's not a very agile human being. And he
chest volleys it and then side volleys.
And someone told me it's like something you see them do in practice where they're just screwing around.
Yeah.
And he did it in a game. Like, that was awesome.
It was gorgeous.
And it kind of came off of a corner, but then the ball got pushed across, and it went back, and then got back to him. And Smalling played it off of his chest, and then volleyed it out of the air as he's kind of swinging his big frame around, and the ball goes into the opposite corner. It was a lovely goal from anybody, but especially a center back.
You'd have been freaking out if that was Lukaku, but instead, that was awesome.
Well, and Lukaku gets on the score sheet again. I think it makes 4 on the year, and United take down a team that was 4-0.
A team that was not afraid of Man United.
No,
like a team that has and I don't mean that as a knock against Man United. Watford's just had a lot of momentum going their way,
which is good because in the past few years, teams haven't been afraid of Man United, gone after them and won. This didn't happen. And they weren't playing at home. They were playing at Watford.
Yeah.
So this was a very good win. This was a Mourinho-type win. Because for a large majority of the game, United were the best team. But they played the best.
They did lose, which allows me to say a sentence. I don't know how many times I'll get to say it. I'm going to say it. Because they lost, though, it does give chance for the Cherries of Bournemouth to jump into the top 4 next week.
It does.
I'll say that as long as I get to say that.
It does give them a little bit of hope to get in the top 4 because they're currently sitting in 5th.
I do love watching the Cherries currently sitting where they've been sitting since opening.
But all in all, a good win for United. Another send off in this one from them though. They had Rashford sent off in the last game before the international break. They had Nemanja Matic on a second yellow sent off very late in this game, which almost let Watford draw had it not been for De Gea's amazing save off of a free kick.
He had a number of spectacular, outstretched, one-handed saves in this match.
He had a few, but I also want to point out that Ben Foster in the Watford goal saved like three balls from Paul Pogba that Pogba couldn't buy a goal, and Pogba looked very good in this game. He looked like the Pogba that played for France. He couldn't see the back of the net, and Foster did everything he could and did to keep Pogba out at least.
I'm just disappointed because
for United.
We were rolling to get epic like Mourinho meltdowns, and you guys have won the last one. So it was because that like 3-0. What is 3-0? Well, it is 3-0. Well, but it's all three championships, more than all 19. I'm like, I need him to lose another one because he's got to go crazy. He's just getting nuttier and nuttier. And I'm like, crap. We're kind of resetting the Mourinho like boiler.
It's funny.
Right.
It's
It
funny
relieved
that
a
you
lot
said
of the
that.
pressure.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because while Ron and I were on our cruise, we met a gentleman. Didn't meet, but he was our sommelier, Daryl. Who noticed my kit jacket that I had on one day, and we got to talking about United, and he's a big Manchester United fan, and we all were just shooting the just talking about soccer and everything, and then Ron asked the infamous, "Are you a Mourinho in or a Mourinho out?" And I'm a Mourinho in person. Daryl was not. Daryl's a Mourinho out, which is a vast majority of, I don't know if it's a vast majority, but is a large portion.
Just a chunk. Yeah.
So it's a large chunk of the United fans. Because
one more win and it'll go away for a while.
Right. So we got into several nights of good debate between us on Mourinho in, Mourinho out, here's why not, yada, 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 back and forth. It ended with us making a bet. I bet that I believe Mourinho will be with them through December, at the very least, but I still think he'll be with them for the entire year. Daryl thinks that Mourinho will be sacked before the end of the year, before the calendar year, not before the end of the season, before the end of the calendar year. So by the end of December. I still think Mourinho's in for this entire year.
I don't know. Right now, I think we moved back into a gray space. I don't think I could confidently say one way or the other. I think it really depends on you do well the next 3 games, even if there's a slump. I think he's there for the whole season.
Which is why
now you lose the next 3. Maybe that's a different story. It would need to happen now. Do you know what I mean? I think for that to occur.
Agreed. But I still think he says. But Daryl, we'll see come December, and we'll be chit chatting on the old Facebooks between now and then to see how.
Well, I think your schedule will allow you to relieve some of the pressure. You have Wolverhampton, then you have West Ham.
Yeah. But see, that doesn't relieve the pressure.
You're right.
Because if they draw or lose,
if they drop, yeah, exactly.
That is going to be.
I think the worst. So they have Wolverhampton, West Ham, Newcastle, Chelsea, Everton. I think if they
West Ham coming back,
if they draw or lose to West Ham, it's on again with the Mourinho.
I don't know. I think he's there all year. I think more importantly is what he does in the Champions League this year. If they make a good run in the Champions League, I think that's more key than anything. If they do top 4 and place in the semis of the Champions League, I think that's a very positive thing, and then possibly make a big FA Cup run or something to that extent.
I think they have
I think he's fine.
They don't have that hard of a group in Champions League.
It's harder than
they have the young boys.
Yes, which is
Valencia.
That's the easiest one.
Valencia,
not easy.
Yeah, but they're not turning the world over.
Agreed.
I think their hardest opponent will be Juventus.
Oh yeah, by far, and that'd be a very fun tie when we play because that involves Ronaldo coming back to United, so on and so forth. But not the hardest of groups. I think the Tottenham group is harder. This one is they have a chance to definitely get out of the group. Whether they get first or second, it will be determined, or even third or fourth. Who knows? If they bomb that, then you could see Mourinho go by December. Because remember, the Champions League group stages are done before December. So
right.
Or before the end of December, I should say. That moves us along to the 5th game that we are looking at from the Premier League this week.
Shocker.
And that was a game that was played on Sunday. West Ham 3, Everton 1.
I didn't feel like this was a shocker based on them not having Richarlison. I think with Everton without him, I think they need him to win. West Ham drawing or winning this game wouldn't have shocked me.
Here's where I don't necessarily agree, only because the Everton defensive midfield and the defense just looked like they were still on international break. They weren't closing anyone down. They gave West Ham, specifically Yarmolenko and Arnautovic, they gave them so much space and so much freedom to just maraud through the defense. I think Richarlison doesn't help that. He's going to help them score more goals, yes. But that defense being wide open in this match is really what did Everton in.
Well, Everton also they had shots off of the woodwork and everything else. I had to look it up real quick. So it was 16 shots for Everton to 9 for West Ham. And their possession is 55 or 56 really. Everton 40, 44 West Ham.
You know what else made this a very interesting game for me was that West Ham's goals were all build up, counterattack, and team oriented goals.
Yeah, which is something that
they weren't
hasn't happened for West Ham yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a strike from outside the box that made it in. It was a lot of one touch passing, give and goes, frisky ball through, and then beautiful crosses in front of players. And you haven't seen that from West Ham at all. So,
although I was shocked, that late goal at the end of the first half, I thought Everton was going to win this game based off the momentum.
And it was at
Everton. And that Sigurdsson header was awesome.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. And you thought, oh, there we go. West Ham is going to screw it up again. And that, to me, I was actually not so much shocked at the scoreline if you'd have told me before the game. It was at that point, though, I was like, I would not have thought Everton would have gone out like that.
Well, and I mean, despite Yarmolenko getting a double and Arnautovic getting a goal and I believe an assist, I think the biggest player for them, and Ron, kind of going to your point earlier, that would allow them to do the 1-2 passes, push play, get creative, make those really good attacking passes, was Pedro Obiang in the midfield there.
Right.
He really was the catalyst for at least those first 2 goals, where he really helped set the play. And I believe it was on that first goal where he played that 1-2. He had a brilliant first touch, which then played it to Arnautovic, which then played it back to Obiang, and then played it to Arnautovic again, who then played it over to Yarmolenko. It was those 2. Those 3 really had a fantastic game, but I think he for me was the player of the match. And it was nice to see Yarmolenko in his first start. He's come in a couple times, but in his first start, get 2 goals. I really liked him when he played. I thought he was a very good signing for Dortmund last year when he played for them, but it just never really clicked for him there. He scored some goals and he did an all right time, but didn't really click. If it clicks for him at West Ham's a very big club, and if it clicks for him in this club, he could be off to bigger and better things. So I'm curious to see how his season's going to go. I hope it does go good for him. I think that Arnautovic, Obiang, and Arnautovic partnership there, along with, who wasn't mentioned on the score sheet, but Felipe Anderson, wasn't mentioned because I believe he was on the subs bench, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he was. No, I'm sorry. He was on the field, but did not get mentioned in the score sheet. Those 4 are going to be real key for them. They're all very attacking wingers, creative players. We saw that here with a few of them. That continues for them. All they got to do is just not concede goals, and West Ham could see themselves securely in the top 10.
Well, the hard thing for West Ham is their next 5 matches: Chelsea, Man United, Brighton Hove and Albion, Tottenham, Leicester.
And also, this is game 5. This is 3 points. The only 3 points they have. Like,
right.
They have got to, like...
True.
Which lifted them out of relegation.
Right. They've got to get on this and roll with this momentum.
True.
Because they can't afford to...
But teams with that kind of talent that they brought in, that are those names that I just mentioned, take a little bit of time to click. And I think in this match, you saw it click a little bit more so, and I think they can build off of this. Time will tell, obviously, but this was a pretty good win off of a Everton team that has had a few wins to start the year. So we'll see.
Everton's next 5 up: Arsenal, Fulham, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Manchester United. So
both not easy runs.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to watch. I bet you see West Ham start climbing the table a bit.
It's not on the list, but I feel like we should mention it. Proof that you never know what game can be awesome, because the game of today,
that was fun.
Was Southampton versus Brighton, down to the wire, late penalty it was, that secured the point for Brighton. But dude, Emil, is it Hoiberg? How you pronounce his name?
Emil Hoiberg.
Hoiberg.
You're right, Ron.
Hoiberg.
His freaking wonder goal. My God. Against Smalling, I think, had the goal of the week until today.
Right.
That goal was amazing, man.
Two very different kind of goals, though.
Oh, sure. But like, holy crap, man. From way out there, bends that thing in just around the goalkeeper into the net. That was beautiful, man.
Yeah, it was.
That was absolutely beautiful. That was I guess I'll cut this on. I'm just doing stuff around the house, and then it ended up being like a really fun game. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. So how our table looks after week 5: Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Watford round out the top 4 in that order. And then you have Bournemouth all the way up there in 5th, up the cherries. Tottenham in 6th. You have Arsenal, Manchester United, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Everton round out the top 10 thus far. You have Leicester, Crystal Palace, Southampton, Brighton, Hove and Albion, Fulham, West Ham, and Cardiff from 17th through 10th, or through 11th, sorry. And then to round out the bottom 3 at the current time, Huddersfield, Newcastle, and Burnley. Newcastle and Burnley with only a single point thus far.
Huddersfield's got to stop the bleeding. They have the worst defense by goal differential.
I feel like, I know it's bad for anybody to get knocked out of the Premier League, but for Newcastle to come back in, and I know it's early, For Newcastle to come back in, boy, they can't. They need to have a good year.
I don't know if Newcastle's necessarily played all that bad. I think they haven't had the easiest of runs.
No, that's true.
And
They've had a tough schedule.
Right. I think them and Fulham are two teams that are, well, they're in, in the 15 and below, haven't necessarily played that bad. It seems more so if you would have said Cardiff, Huddersfield, Burnley are in the bottom three, that would make more sense just from how that they've played and the style of play and all of that. But
Burnley,
Newcastle don't want to go down.
Burnley's got to do something, or they are toast.
Already knocked out of Europa League.
yeah.
I mean, it's not good.
Newcastle's
God, it's as bad as a Moo Thunder.
And they're and where they're normally very well known, Burnley, for their defense, they're sitting second worst right now on a -7. Not good. They got to get that figured out.
Newcastle's got a pretty favorable schedule coming up, so I feel like they have the chance. I think their hardest game is going to be Manchester United on October 6th. Past that, they have Crystal Palace, Leicester, which could be rough, Brighton Hove and Albion, and then Southampton. So I think they have the chance to be able to pick it up.
I agree.
It's so bad. I'm sorry.
How you doing over there, champ?
Beer, I've got just a little left. Hey, Ron, give that thing a whiff now.
Oh, God.
Now that it's good and warm.
Oh, God.
I tried it. It made me cough.
It smells like
can smell-
chocolate B.O.
Even though there's no
Smells like Bigfoot's.
It,
What's it from?
what is that from?
Anchorman.
Anchorman. There we go.
Uh,
Oh man. Yeah, this is oh, here we go.
Well, before we get into the MLS and NWSL,
Yeah,
are you gonna be able to finish that up when you do the other beer?
Over the lips. See, the thought of even just chug. Oh, God.
Dude, I'm telling you that's just send it back one time, baby.
Okay, here we go. I'm on.
3, 2, 1, and
Go. Blah. Oh God. Oh God.
that's so gross.
I'm so glad I got it on camera.
Oh God.
Boo Thunder.
Oh. Here, I brought a palate cleanser for myself.
A what?
A little Reese cup. Because I knew it had chocolate notes, but it was going to be terrible. So I was like,
Oh, you said palate
Palate
cleanser.
palate
yeah.
cleanser.
I don't know
That's not what I heard.
No, that's not what I heard either.
Palate cleanser. Oh, God. Oh, God, that beer's awful.
And that was wrong. That wasn't even Blake with that burp.
Oh, I'm eating a Reese cup. This gosh sound really gross on recorded, but.
Oh, well, Blake, thank you for following through on the bet. Thank you to Rain Rooney for having 5 goals thus far.
Thank you for getting 5, because if he'd gotten 4 and injured, or that was it, all he got was 4,
That's true. That's true.
I was going to be so mad.
That would have been great. I mean, not the injury part, but
No, but
4 for the season and he's done.
He's done. Oh, that would have been awesome. But nonetheless, thanks for following through on that bet.
Oh, thank you, Hershey's.
Let's get
for
you
the
a
Reese
good beer.
cup. I no longer can taste that beer. I was trying to think of something. I was like, like a crack or something. No, I'm going to need something else, man.
Yep.
Gargle with some white vinegar. Ooh.
Battery acid.
Some white vinegar.
Okay, so what's your next beer?
okay.
So another beer from this same company?
Another beer from Mad Tree Brewing Company. Ron and I had the Endotropic Theory. It's an IPA, 7.5%. Very, very good. Ron and I both finished that. Fan-freaking-tastic. This next one from Mad Tree is Psychopathy.
I like the name.
Psychopathy. There we go. Psychopathy. Okay, it's an IPA again. It's available year round. It's available on draft in a 6-pack, which is what we have from the brewery. It's bright citrus floral notes. The little tagline here is explore the blend of citrus, bright, and floral aromas. Additional citrus flavors follow alongside a smooth bitterness. It finishes with a medium body and a slightly sweet malty backbone. Trust your senses. 60 IBU, only coming in at 6.9% ABV. Hops Cascade, Chinook, and Centennial.
Oh, those are some of my favorite hops.
Yep. Malts 2-row, Vienna, Caramel 40L, and
Gimme.
I will give you the first one. Kind of a cool can as well on the front. Here you go, Blake.
Okay.
Are you drinking out of that glass?
I ain't drinking out of that Moo Thunder glass, no.
I think we should just throw
burn
it away.
Ron, here you go.
I'm going to...
Arigato.
Can you pass me a Brewtiful Game koozie there?
Here you
There's
go.
one right
You can
there.
take. I'm actually gonna put mine in the pint glass for this.
All right.
So
Brewtiful Game koozie. We still got a few of these left. Anybody wants to leave a review?
Yes, we do. Still got a few
iTunes
left.
or wherever. Please leave a review.
At the top here, it says,
We'll get one to
madness in a can. Embrace the madness. Embrace the cans. Madness in a can. Kind of cool.
Psychopathy.
They have
Psychopathy.
They have their logo on this is an ink blot test. I forget what those are called.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Rorschach or
Rorschach.
Yeah.
Rorschach test. What does it look like to you guys?
Well, to me, it looks like a tree and a moon, kind of.
It looks like
a,
it looks like a mad tree with a long demon-esque face with some horns at the top and a little bit of eyes as a nose,
And a
then
beautiful Tom Selleck mustache.
Yes.
See, I see a little demon guy going like this. Hey, who's got 2 thumbs that likes this beer? This demon.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
That'll
I
make
can see
sense.
that.
You have to take
true.
a picture of the can and put
Yeah,
that up.
yeah, true.
Yeah. This demon. We call him Little Demon.
He's back.
By the way, I knew it was a Rorschach test. You know how I knew that name? Because the comic book Watchmen and the
Watchmen.
character was
I
named
knew
Rorschach.
you were going there.
That's
I
it.
knew
Like,
you were
that's the
going
only
there.
reason I remembered that.
Hashtag nerd alert.
All right. Oh my God. Get in my mouth right now.
Ooh, that's what you. Never mind. All right, here we go. Hold on.
Whoop. I might pour this out actually. Man, that is into a glass. I mean, that smells
I believe
great.
you do have a glass over there.
I do. I changed my mind.
And one that didn't.
did not touch the
did not
Moose
touch
Thunder.
the Moose Thunder. Yeah.
I really am only doing this because it smells so good. I want to be able to smell it.
Oh,
This is definitely lighter
it
than the
does smell
previous
good.
one. As far as color is concerned, I mean. It's a brighter yellow, like a pale straw.
Some good head retention there from all of us.
Oh man, that
Oh,
looks
yes.
good.
Still unfiltered.
That looks tasty.
Definitely can taste, or I'm sorry, smell the citrus notes.
Oh my God. Yeah, definitely unfiltered. As I poured the last little bit out of the can, I could see that. Oh man, that glass looks delicious. Oh man, the smell of this beer.
Citra hops?
He said
yes.
Cascade, Citra, and what else?
Chinook.
Yeah, I thought there was Citra in there. You
It's-
could
in
just.
fact,
No, there was no Citra hops. It was
No?
it was just Cascade, Chinook, and Centennial.
Oh. So what's
Samsonite.
given that huge citrus?
it's the Cascade because
Is
that's like
Yeah.
what's really heavily used by Sierra Nevada and stuff too. Oh man, this smells good. Okay, all right. This is probably going to taste like the best beer I've ever had because of what I just went through. Cheers, gentlemen. This is the beer I can get behind. This makes me miss homebrewing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because these hops are
that's good.
so fresh. I can just you can just smell like when you open the bag of hops or whatever to boil with. Oh man. This is super hoppy, real bitter, but I'm down. It's not
it's
too it's
It's not overpowering.
And where
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of hops, but
Yes.
it's not
where the other beer, the
oh man.
and the Entropic Theory had a very balanced malt profile. This one has a lot less malt in it, and that hop profile really takes off.
It's got a lot less Moo Thunder in it, and I like that.
Thunder.
Oh my god. My god, this beer's amazing. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I think anything would following a Moo Thunder. That's good. All right. Let us move on to a little MLS chat, shall we? Ron kind of mentioned it there. It turned out to be a loss, but playing at Toronto, LA Galaxy loses 3-5, but who cares? You don't lose when Zlatan's on the team. It's still all about him. The team can lose by 2 goals in an 8-goal match, but when Zlatan gets his 500th club goal,
Which was
and you know what? Ferris, wait.
Brilliant.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Audio Theater with Michael Ferris. Ferris, why don't you tell us how that goal went down?
Well, Blake, if you want to pass me the lovely picture that I once put into a frame that is sitting up on your bookshelf, I will continue my story.
I'll pass you the Zlatan picture that currently Animal from the Muppets is laying on. There you go. For those of you sitting at home, Blake just passed a picture of Zlatan throwing a wild kick.
Not wild. That's controlled. Look at those leg muscles. That is Taekwondo, Jackie Chan, and Bruce Lee tied into one. Right there.
I don't even know what that meant.
No
That's
clue.
not even true.
Just go with it. So now that I'm holding this, I can continue. It was a day in Toronto. Zlatan Ibrahimovic stepped onto the field for the Los Angeles Galaxy. Despite already being down by 3 goals, Zlatan decided he wanted to score his 500th club goal, which only very few men in this world have done. He did so in only a fashion and way that Zlatan can. A spinning back heel kick thingamajig. I don't know the technical term for it. Swept it into the net from a ball played into the box. It was beautiful. And as only Zlatan did, celebrated by running back to the other side of the field to try to get his team in it. Folks, here's what I ask you. Was his 500th goal in this game better than his first goal when he joined the Galaxy?
No. Nope.
Oh, I say yes because it's peak Zlatan. You have lost the game, and it is still all about you. I think that is so Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
I disagree, and I disagree because Ferris is like going to curl up
Just
like
holding that picture.
That picture's his teddy bear. Zlatan did the first goal, which, if you can recall, he receives the ball from a kind of lame pass at midfield. He takes 2 touches on the ball and cranks it. And he's on the left side of the field, cranks it all the way right, and it curves back left and scores. That is the epitome of his calling card, where he does the absolute unbelievable. This goal was not quite as unbelievable because there was already pace on the ball, and he wasn't really challenged for it. Yes, it was a phenomenal goal, but the pace on the ball was already there. He just had to guide it. Whereas his first goal, he shot that thing from half field, it went into orbit, got a slingshot around the sun, and then came back to score. That, I think, is the better goal.
And I will agree with you because it was also a derby game. It tied the game up. They went on to win. And it was a beautifully technically taken goal where he solved it. So I would agree with you in terms of the better of the two. But for a 500th goal,
yeah,
this
that's
is pretty
brilliant.
Cool. Yeah.
Let's talk about the fact that Toronto's terrible and the Galaxy lost to them. Not to overshadow.
Yeah.
I feel like what a slump.
The Galaxy really aren't that good, though.
No,
they have
no.
Zlatan. That's about it.
It's just crazy that Rooney can go to DC United, who were awful, and they're scooting up to do the playoffs. And you feel like LA Galaxy has a better team. I feel like on paper, they got a better team on paper than DC United.
I can only name one other player that plays for. No, I can name 2 other players that play for Galaxy. And I'm not looking at the notes at the current time. Ola Kamara, who came from Columbus in the offseason, and then the San Jose old goalkeeper who occasionally plays for the U.S. men's national team, Bingham. Those are the only 3 players that I can name that play for the Galaxy. That's 2 of which are strikers, and 1 of which is a goalie. Oh, and Ashley Cole, I guess, because he's still there. But he plays off to the left, and he doesn't play center back or anything. So Galaxy really aren't that good of a team.
Nope.
They have Zlatan, and they have some goal scoring.
They are
a sinking ship at the back.
I know we're going to go through them all, and they're currently just a couple of points out of the playoff position, which
Right.
Galaxy could easily get back in. over
Well, and
like
I put this on there, yes, because it's Zlatan, but also because the last time we did a pod and we mentioned the MLS, the Galaxy were sitting in that 4th place where Real Salt Lake are. So now that they've backed themselves out of between now and then, so over 4 weeks we haven't done the pod, they backed themselves out and aren't just sitting right below the line, they're sitting 2 below the line. So there's still some time left, but they've definitely gone the opposite
Only
direction.
6 games left, roughly.
something like
to be honest
that.
with you. That would make sense, though.
Our other match we want to talk about, another goal fest, 2 goals less in total, but DC United at home against New York Red Bulls. Man, what a crazy game. Tied all 3-3. Man, Bradley Wright Phillips.
BWP, man, he's a goal scoring machine.
Hat trick. And this is also Rooney's 5th. Is this the one he got his 5th goal in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. Nationally televised game on ESPN in the afternoon.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't want to see BWP put that last goal in the 90th because if DC got those 3 points, they would be 1 point out from the Impact. With that, or no, I'm sorry, they would be 2 points out. With that, they are now 4 points out.
What do you think, Ron? Do you think DC United can get into the playoff position?
I think I doubt it. Not with the way.
You want to bet a butternut over that?
What are you, stupid? Oh, I see how this is going to go. It's going to be the team up against me to get me to make a bet for some.
There will come a time where something will happen.
Absolute fantastic beer that you want me to drink.
There will be a time.
Bring it.
Oh man, I know.
But I really don't. I think it's going to be difficult because Montreal is coming in at a really good time in this season. Philadelphia is also doing well. I don't think DC is going to make up essentially 4 to 5 points to get into.
While they don't, and them not at all, them just bombing out here. Yeah. I think it's tough for DC United. I think speaking of on the West, will LA Galaxy have a better shot of getting into playoff position? They're 6 points out, but I think they have teams above them that have had struggles more so than I think DC United has over in the East.
Yeah.
I slightly disagree with that.
I just don't think the Timbers are misfiring right now. So
Galaxy could catch up to them.
I think that's pretty conceivable.
It's still a struggle, but I'm just saying I feel like it's a better shot than DC United leaping above either Montreal Impact or Philadelphia Union really dropping a ton of points.
And Houston just annihilated the Timbers 4-1. Houston, also in the Western Conference, is in 9th place. Portland sitting in 6th. The Timbers seem to be the weak link in that chain.
I disagree with it because I don't think it's the Impact that will go down. I think Philadelphia Union could slip and DC can make up those 5 points. In the last 2 Philadelphia Union games, they drew with Orlando City, and they have a -26 and are last in the East. We f***ing suck. And they got blown out at home, I believe, by the Impact 4-1. That trend continues. They then have, this is not necessarily an easy run, they then have the Sounders sitting in 5th in the West and then sitting in 1st in the West, Sporting KC the following week. They drop those 2 games and DC win their next 2 games. Those points get made up real quick. So I think it's the Union that you could see drop out.
Yeah, Montreal.
I don't think the Galaxy will get back in. I think the Galaxy will be on the outside looking in.
Did we make a prediction this year for top team that doesn't make the playoffs? Did we do that? I know we did the year before.
Yes, I believe we did. I don't have that on me currently, but we did. We did have something to that extent. Yeah.
A question: if the LA Galaxy do not make the playoffs, does Zlatan stay?
Yes.
I think he does. As long as he can play, he's gonna play, I think. And I think if he goes anywhere, he wants to go somewhere where the spotlight's still nice. And he's in LA, he's out in Hollywood. I feel like that's a place for him to be.
Yep.
To be Zlatan. I think he does.
And it gives
Because if he goes over to Europe, I don't think he's not going to
No.
go to a.
I don't think he has the legs for it over in
Or
Europe.
do you think he gets poached by another MLS side?
Not from the Galaxy, no.
I think he wants. I think again, Zlatan wants to be in Hollywood. Zlatan, that should
Right.
Like,
just
and
think
I
about-
think Zlatan knows that he can also bring players in. And the Galaxy, while they guess they could have done that in the offseason, they put their entire offseason into getting him in. So this offseason,
if they keep him,
the club can hopefully build around him a little bit more and get somebody in midfield to help him out here, and maybe somebody at the back.
But just picture Zlatan in an Atlanta uniform.
I don't think.
But it wouldn't be the Zlatan show. It would be still
Yeah.
the Atlanta show. And why would Atlanta
Yeah.
do that? They have a very cohesive squad right now with Martinez completely
They don't
on
need it.
fire and breaking the MLS goal
There's
scoring
plenty of
record,
teams
so-
that don't need
First single
another
season.
player in the Premier League, and they snag them to, cut the competition down. I think it'd be interesting to see him in a team like Atlanta.
But when have you
where-
really seen that in the MLS, though, happen? I can't think of any really
Well,
high-profile players go from one team to the other in MLS. You've seen a couple, but they've basically been high-profile American players.
And
High-profile
again,
foreign players usually stay at their one club, and then
Zlatan's got an
They're
ego.
done.
He's born for LA.
Yeah, but he's not going to win in LA.
Yeah, but he can be a
next
star.
season. He could. Next season he could.
You have to. Yes, Zlatan's ego is
Technically, he
bigger
could this
than the
year.
stadium he plays in, but also his need to win is there, and he's not doing it in LA.
See, but I think where if you had said Atlanta, and I think that's where you're dead wrong. If you said an NYFC or a New York Red Bulls, where you're up in New York, that's a different story.
Sure, I just picked Atlanta out of a hat.
Right. I
for-
think it's got to be a place. I think it's got to be a place where you get to go be a star. Again, that's not a knocking Atlanta. It's just
Yeah, look,
It's New York, LA. That's like the big thing, right?
He's not
East
going
Coast, West Coast.
he's not going to Minnesota United. I get
Right.
that, right? But there are other teams that he could go and win with that he's not doing right now.
Sure.
Well, and I think a very big point is you forget that Zlatan Ibrahimovic orders a Big Mac in LA from Burger King and gets one. That's all I'm saying.
She orders a Big Mac from Burger King.
You can plug him in for the Chuck Norris quotes. It's 100% true.
That's where Zlatan does not do push-ups. He pushed the world down.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. They can still make the playoffs. I just don't think that they will this year. This DC New York game was a lot of fun because DC still got a point out of it, and they kind of showed that, hey, this little run that we've been on, not little run, but this run that we've been on in the last month or so since Rooney signed, like we're still here. We're not going anywhere. We're still pushing. We're still going to fight to get into the top six. We got they didn't get the full 3 points, but they still got a point. And with some games left, I like their chances to get in.
Well, and so right now, just in the playoff contention in the East, you've got Atlanta, then New York Red Bulls, then NYCFC, Columbus Crew, then Philadelphia Union, Montreal Impact. Columbus Crew goes to the playoffs again for another year, and still, if they still get moved to Austin, which it's looking more and more like that's the case, man, what a shame. But that's your Eastern side of things. I feel like that's probably how the season's going to end. Yes, there's only a point between Red Bulls and Atlanta, but I'll be shocked if Atlanta doesn't end on the top and with the
It's going to be a
is
fun
it supporter
race.
shield in what's it?
No, it's not the support. It's yeah, no, you're right. It is a
Supporter shield.
shield, but
MLS top points is supporter shield. Right.
correct out of both conferences.
Not the community. I was thinking of the community. That's
community
in England.
shield.
That's in England.
And
right?
they're way ahead. Those two teams, in my opinion, the Atlanta and New York Red Bulls, are way ahead of
at this point,
Sporting KC.
These are the dudes who win the MLS Cup. One of those two. I don't see it being a team in the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, in your playoff spots, you've got Sporting KC, FC Dallas, LAFC, Real Salt Lake, Seattle Sounders, Portland Timbers. Good for Real Salt Lake. Not a great year last year at all. So this is actually
but they've been fighting hard.
This is a really good run for them.
Two other things to note: the bottom of the table. It's a dumpster fire in Orlando City. They're in 11th on 24 points, and they're
that's
only
not it's the negative 26
Minus
goal differential.
26.
That's to me
That's 4 worse than the Colorado Rapids, and they're not even last in the West. And Colorado has been terrible this year.
Yep.
Oh,
And they're only slightly better, if you want to call that,
Than San Jose. Yeah, except that Chicago Fire was worse than us and beat us 4-0.
4-0.
So who knows? I think San Jose could easily do that.
And San Jose just sacked their manager today. Manager. They have an interim. And I think the West from top to bottom is a little bit harder. Whew.
But yeah, Orlando City. Now I'm an eternal optimist. So my side of it is if people aren't fair weather and like there really are committed fan base here in Orlando, it makes your next season a lot of fun because there's nowhere to go but up. Now you stay at the bottom, that's the problem. But
in theory,
but there's nowhere to go but up, and it could be a fun season where all of a sudden every victory feels like a freaking championship.
Well,
and let's hope that that's the case next year.
Current pattern, what we'll do is we'll win the first 6 games. If we're going to the MLS Championship, we've already won the MLS Cup, and then we'll fire the manager after the next 6 games. And they'll be back in the same freaking damn boat that we are now.
Yeah. That's pretty much been the pattern, and
until ownership, not ownership, but until the front office changes, I don't know what we're going to see from this club. I don't.
So Blake and Ferris and myself have a text thread that we talk about all the time, and these guys couldn't watch the game, and I was watching parts of it, and in the 4th minute we conceded.
Oh, the Chicago and Orlando game.
Sure, yeah, in the Chicago Orlando match, and I text these guys, and I'm like, well. It's the 4th minute we conceded already. And Blake was like, oh, typical, basically. And then Ferris writes, well, it's a good thing we fired Kreis. And that sparks up the continual debate that the 3 of us and many other fans have that basically say, why did we bother bringing in a new coach when we're getting the same results out of Jason Kreis?
You cannot be an owner because I do not believe with the same players we'd be any better off. There's no way. These guys are not playing well. We don't have a good defense. So if you have Jason Kreis still right now, it makes you look even worse as a front office.
But what didn't happen though, and what I think we're missing a little bit is Jason Kreis didn't have the chance to turn the ship around with some key players that have come back. Dom Dwyer and Spector were out for a large portion of that, as well as Uton. He didn't have the chance to get them back because when he had them, they won the first 6 games or the first 4. They did whatever they did in the first handful of games.
Yeah, but on that note, though, to me, we talked about this.
Still playing that way.
Not just as far as Orlando is concerned. We talked about this on the pod. MLS bugs me a little bit in their first 4 to 5 weeks. It feels a little like a preseason still, where it's, I don't know, it takes a bit for everybody to get their stride. I realize it happens in a lot of professional leagues. For whatever reason, MLS just feels like it. Those first 5 weeks don't necessarily matter. You know, we've seen it with like Portland has done the same thing where
Seattle,
they were terrible and then they were great. And then, it's gone all over.
I really feel like we don't play as a team very well. And we have a lot of talent. They play like they're in the NBA where they're all separate and scattered. And I really think the ownership has to go scorched earth on the front office and start at the top and trickle down. If you have to get rid of 80% of the players and a whole new coaching staff and start completely over, do it.
My fear is
80% of the time every time.
Well, at this point, I don't think you get rid of the coaching staff, and I only say that out of if he inherits the team, I think you have to let him build, you have to let him put his team. If you're going to make a new team and you brought in a guy you could believe in, because part of the reason they went and hired him was that they wanted to snag him before anybody else could. So what they did though, Portland went after him. What's your point? But we didn't hire Ron.
That's every team. Don't stop with that excuse.
No, but that's the truth. No, it is more though with MLS. Even Atlanta's got to be worried because Tito, it's looking like he could possibly go to Argentina.
They only gave Kreis a sliver of a longer shot. If they were to can O'Connell at the end of this year, they only gave him a sliver of a longer shot.
Year and a half.
He had so many people on injury that he didn't have most of his team. Granted, you're a manager of the team and you're supposed to plan for all that. I get that part. But our typical pattern is the second it's not going our way, we can somebody. And then we bring in a whole host of new people and it's a new shuffle of the cards. And we still have no time to gel before they fire someone. They bring in new people. They get rid of other people. We just have no consistency throughout.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't fire O'Connell. I would keep him right now.
I wouldn't have fired Kreis either.
Yeah, Christ was done, guys.
I agree with Ron. I think
I'll tell you what.
need
Then,
to go scorched earth, and just,
I'll say maybe you're right if someone hires Christ in the MLS to coach this next year, but it ain't gonna happen.
Well, only time will tell.
Because I think that dude's done.
I don't even.
Colorado has an opening, I'm sorry, San Jose has an opening.
Yeah,
I don't even think. I'm not.
Colorado could have an opening because they're second last.
And like the major problems we had under Inchy, Minnesota United has. So that was the right choice.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. You know, Minnesota's sitting at 10th in the Western, a minus 15 goal differential. But
that dude still cannot do a defense. I don't know.
No,
I'm not saying Christ was the
cannot.
answer to the problems. Really, what this all points out is the front office is f***ed. And
I think that also shows going into what we're talking about a little bit, not necessarily full blown because we'll do an end of the season, but Orlando Pride should have made the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
They didn't.
No, and Tom Simone is gone.
Who's responsible for all of that?
Right.
There's only one place to look.
And Sermani and the club and the Orlando
mutually parted ways,
right?
Which makes me think I don't want to put up with this anymore. And the club's like, all right, we can try something. You know, I don't know.
I'm
not going to say that because I don't know.
It's all conjecture. But what it does do is it just points to, after so many seasons, so many talented players, you start looking a little further up the chain for why there isn't success. You can only blame the manager so much when we've had...
Well, didn't we talk about this? Who was the guy that was either the general manager or something that we had that left and went to Atlanta?
Right.
The guy that went...
Yep.
I think there is because to start off with, that was a good expansion club as far as what we had. It wasn't going to win a championship that year, but as far as like these were exciting, this was fun. You know, and then this dude goes to Atlanta and you see what they do.
Yeah.
I think to me, that's
the
biggest is the general manager situation. To me, that's the one
it's
that
the
like
front office.
they got to do something, and they got to do it quick, man, or this town will bail on them.
Yep.
I'm going to hesitantly am renewing my season tickets for both, but if we're in the same boat next year, I can't say I'm going to do that.
You know what sucks? I thought the same thing when I saw that email. I was like,
ooh,
I'm like, you know, whatever. People will jump on you, plastic fan, whatever. Yeah. But hey, man, money's money, and I work hard to get it.
Yeah,
and you're like, it sucks to just, you know.
Well, and we were talking, but before we got here, there's 3 home games left. I don't really care if I don't go to those 3 home games.
Work will actually keep me out of them, and last year that drove me nuts, and this year,
because it's not even because we aren't in a playoff contention. It's because we are dead last in the East and dead last in goals in goal difference in the entire league. There is nothing there for the team right now. It looks like they don't. It looks like they don't want to be on the pitch. They don't want to play. The back office or the front office, back of house is why I always think that way. But the front office is just the Pride didn't make. It's just so. It's so negative right now.
I have got to imagine that if you work in ticket sales there, when your email went out, had to be rough. It had to be rough. You know, like the initial, like, hey, ready to renew? Like, I'm sure they got a lot of people like,
and the only people that are happy right now are those that are on the waiting list that are probably going to get in this year because a lot of people are probably going to drop their tickets.
Or the people that were on the way on the bottom because other folks on the waiting list were like,
right,
that's
exactly.
all right.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't mind if we were in last place with a minus 26 goal differential, but we played our hearts out every time.
Right.
And we don't do that. I'm still going to go to the Houston game on Saturday, and
I'll go to the Seattle game. Yeah,
many of the home games as I can make, I will definitely go because I, support it through thick and thin. But man, it's hard to go when.
Well, it used to be like, hey man, game day tomorrow, see you guys there, and then you're just like, this sucks.
Well, I work on Saturday.
Is this what it's like to be a Browns fan,
right?
Or a Bills fan,
season ticket holder, yeah,
or the Bills fans. and I'm one of those.
And I work on Saturday, so it's not that I'm not going because I just don't want to. It's I can't. I can't, boat, yeah. But I don't even want to try to switch my shift around. I mean, what, Ron? We got in from Alaska a few Saturdays ago. And there was a game that night. We easily could have hopped in a car, gotten our own cars, and driven downtown and been there to the game a little bit late. But there was no desire from us to.
You're like, vacation was too nice. I don't want to mess it up.
I don't want to.
I want to finish out these few days on a high note.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I might play the match on FIFA and just glance at the score on my phone here and there. Yeah,
Right.
no, it's rough, and yeah, like I said, that's the eternal optimist to me is that it could make next year a whole lot of fun. You imagine if
Absolutely.
if we open with imagine you win 3-1 in an opener, it would be huge, right?
No, I would rather lose the first 5 games and be in a much better position now than we are. I mean, it's look at what Seattle that started off horrid, and they're in 5th in the West now. Look like they could make the playoffs yet again.
And they lost Jordan Morris
For the entire year.
for the entire year. And he was supposed to be where all the goals were coming from.
Right.
So Seattle had a rough beginning, but came on at the right time.
And
to get,
Portland did as well, if you remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're both. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see where they do next year. But this year's unfortunately a loss for them, and hopefully some front office changes can be made. And
maybe there'll be some fun last games where you have that like the Bills at the very end when they're like don't care and they screw up playoff chances for someone else because they're like we'll have fun. You're like, where was this attitude earlier? And maybe we'll have a couple of fun ones on the way out. I hope so.
I guess the question is, do you show up with paper bags on your head yet?
Yeah, right, no, right.
even for the last 3 games, I wouldn't be surprised if anybody does. What I will ask of our fans though is let's not give the birds on camera and do all of that stuff.
Let's just have dignity.
Yeah,
and
let's
instead of
let's
throwing
not
shit
blame
on
the
the
refs
field.
and blame
That's
the league.
the hardest part.
If you do it like what was it? Was it Southampton a couple years ago? They stood up and turned around or whatever,
And then just left.
And booed
Yeah.
the management, and then management had to get escorted off property by security.
Yeah, that was crazy. Was it
No,
Southampton?
that
right?
was West Ham,
West
but
Ham.
they did it a little bit harsh. They were throwing stuff at the And we don't want any of that. But yeah, let's go down with a little bit of.
And it's not the
dignity
ref's
there.
fault that we have conceded
26
goals, or more
That's
than
the-
26
that's the-
goals.
The
Right.
conversation over VAR and MLS reffing is a conversation worth having. That is not the reason we are in the boat.
No,
we are
absolutely
in.
not.
No.
We're in this
We are a bad
because
team.
we're
Right.
terrible.
Yeah, if we
We
were
lost 4-0 to
if
Chicago
we were
Fire
a
team
point
second
away
last.
from playoffs, you could maybe talk about that more. But it doesn't. Although that is something, please, Lord in heaven, fix for next year,
Yes.
please. You went ahead and brought it up, so we should segue into
Right.
NWSL because we're rolling into playoffs here.
Right. We are rolling into playoffs. It's kind of a weird year for the NWSL, kind of a scrunched year because of the World Cup qualifying that's taking place for this next summer or this summer. I don't know where we're at in the summer, but this summer, the 2019 World Cup in France for the women. So it's kind of a scrunched season. So they're doing this very, very odd, but we're in playoffs currently. As I said, the Orlando Pride did not make it. We'll get into more of that on our NWSL wrap-up. However, this past Saturday, the Portland Thorns defeated the Seattle Reign 2-1 on the back of Tobin Heath and Lindsay Horan goals, advancing to their second NWSL championship in a row.
Jazz it up at Seattle.
She scored, yeah.
Right, so hate that because I loved her when she played here in Orlando.
Portland's a damn good
was definitely
team.
rooting
Yeah.
for her, yeah.
And they were playing in Portland, and Horan and Heath, watching Portland play this year, they are a very, very good team. Horan, in my opinion, is the best player we currently have. But nonetheless, they advanced to the championship. Now, you would think that either the next game would have been played on that Saturday or Sunday, as the NWSL championship is this coming Saturday, the 22nd. But no, tomorrow,
Yes.
Tuesday the 18th.
Such a weird
Very
day.
weird, very weird. It's just so scrunched. Tomorrow, Tuesday the 18th, the North Carolina Courage will take on the Chicago Red Stars to see who advances to play the Portland Thorns in the NWSL
the neutral in me
championship.
just wants to see Carolina and Portland in the final.
Again, that would be 2 years in a row. Yeah.
I do think though this could be a really good game
Because
though. I think,
we had the championship game here last year, and that was a very good final. Was very tight, and 2 very good teams going head to head. This year's final will take place actually in Providence Park in Portland, which gives a little bit of a nod to Portland Thorns, who are already in there. And it'll be again this Saturday, the 22nd, at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, I believe, and that game will be broadcast on Lifetime. So kind of an odd year for NWSL. We're wrapping up very quick and getting through these very, very quickly, and then moving on to World Cup qualifying
Do
for
the
the
club
women.
adding right Vegas? No, is that a thing? Is that an official thing yet? There's a new
I haven't seen
NWSL
anything
team
on
I
that.
haven't seen any official word yet.
I certainly hope they do, because right now we're sitting at that
Why am I
weird
thinking
9
Vegas,
teams.
or was
in
it
the
like
league.
LA or somebody? Somebody was.
LA
looking-
was being talked about. I
Yeah.
thought if LA opens up, we're definitely going to lose Morgan.
oh
yeah.
'Cause
Well, I mean,
We'd lose her.
we would, but I don't know that Carrasco necessarily stays in LA. I don't know. That's
Right.
I mean, but yes, if he were there, then I think that's a good possibility.
yeah, he might not stay. He's not getting a ton of playing time.
Yeah, exactly.
He's coming on as sub. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then where does he go? And does Alex follow him?
I think
So,
she tries. I mean, I don't know.
I think she's
or does
going
it
to
go
try
the other way
and-
around?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, hell, we could have used
I could
him
have.
this
We could
year.
have
He
used
could
him
stayed
back
here. Yeah.
greatly this go round.
But that is your NWSL, so watch for that game tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's on TV or not. If it was anywhere, it'd be on Lifetime, but I'm not quite sure. And then the championship on Lifetime.
If not, I think you could also stream it on the website.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Despite the fact I started with a beer that tastes like poop, this is a pretty good pod. It's nice to dust off the
The
rust
mics and the.
and get back in here and actually get to podding, talking a little soccer.
You know what next podcast is?
It's well, ladies and gentlemen, you just listened to the 99th episode,
That's right.
so that means
Game.
so we haven't figured out what we're gonna do yet. We got to do something cool with the beer or something. We got to like a
I
fun.
mean, I have carnival games coming. There's elephants, monkeys. You don't even know.
Hey.
we're gonna need a bigger studio.
You don't even
I
know.
think we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, so we'll do something fun for the 100th. I'm pretty excited about it. 100 freaking episodes. 99 episodes. 99.
Oh, I have it.
Oh, here we go.
A blindfolded beer taste test.
Cool.
Sure.
I'll do that, Ferris.
Oh, I would lose. Or was it competition? What are we doing?
No, it's just what do you think of this?
Okay.
No snap,
fuck.
no blue.
Oh no
butternut's brewing at all.
Piss off here. He's gonna go in there and get that snapper crapper off stuff in the fridge and be like, here, try this. I'm not gonna guess this.
A blind taste test of beers would be a ton of fun.
Why do we have
Little
to blindfold
competition.
ourselves? Why don't we just enjoy them together? And
Because then it'll be fun to see how much beer stuff we've learned over 100 episodes of beers.
I don't know. Well, the problem is like if we get weird stuff, like what? Because we keep trying stuff that's like such weird styles. All
Yeah, but you should at least be able to pick out the style.
I'm gonna get me a sour and hand it to Ron. Try this.
I was thinking
Oh,
the
I
same.
know exactly what that is.
I was thinking the same thing.
This
As a matter
isn't
of
a
fact-
game of your buddy. Jesus.
Hey-o.
God.
That means two things.
I will say, Ferris was like, I got the beer tonight and you'll do the Moo Thunder. Or did you want it, Blake? And I almost said yes because I got a bunch of sour. And I thought about it, I was like,
well,
all
you
right, well, I
should-
got to
you
drink
should-
this
yeah.
beer.
What did I do to any of
And
you?
then put it aside.
You should have separately sent me a text of that.
But I didn't want to do that. It was about me drinking dusty Tootsie Roll beer.
10/22/15
Dude, that's
is
what
when
it
it
is.
was packaged.
A dusty Tootsie Roll. That's it.
Cotton candy, sweet as gold. Let Blake see that Tootsie Roll.
God.
And I don't even think we can blame the age of the beer for how terrible
Give it a
there's
smell,
no,
Ferris.
No, thank you. I've done that before with some ice cream before.
Give the
It's
can a
very
smell.
I can't believe you put
rancid.
ice cream in it.
I tried to make it more appetizing for myself and to keep it cool. And it backfired, but I don't. Yeah. At least I had the rest of the ice cream I could eat.
I'm glad I got to end it with, wait, what is the company again? Mad Tree Brewing?
Mad Tree Brewing, yeah.
This is delicious.
Thanks, Brad.
Delicious. Yeah, thanks, Brad.
Yeah, man. Thanks for listening to the
Appreciate
show.
you
Thanks for the
Thinking
beer.
of us and bringing back some beer from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah. Speaking of folks listening, again, I'll bring it up. We still have a few koozies, maybe a magnet or two left.
I just placed an order for a ton more magnets.
And Clark, our listener Clark, we heard from you. We're going to get another set of stuff out to you because apparently something did not make its way out to you. So
Sorry, dude.
but if you leave but we love your rating and your review, especially. It makes me really happy. But if you leave a rating or review, either wherever, Stitcher, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, just take a screen grab and either email us or direct message us through social media with it, and we will get you a little magnet and a koozie for the Brewtiful Game. You can find us and wherever we are on social media at thebrewtifulgame.com, www.thebrewtifulgame.com. Find us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Untapped.
Untapped is so awesome.
Oh, man.
When Ferris and I were on vacation, we put so many beers on Untapped, especially
That's how I lived vicariously through your vacation was the Untapped app.
in Skagway, Alaska.
Skagway,
We had
that one
a
was
spruce
cool,
tip
man.
beer. It was a spruce tip IPA. Oh,
And
God.
isn't it like only available at certain times of year because they have to pick the?
It's a seasonal beer. They
Very
take
cool.
the spruce tips off of the spruce, and it's got a lot of citrus in it. And that's the only way the Inuits and people that lived in Alaska would fight off scurvy because there's not a lot of citrus fruit up there.
Oh, that's just freaking cool.
So they would use this.
it was cool.
They would use this, and the beer was
See,
phenomenal.
follow us on Untapped. You find out all that stuff.
And we had a bunch of cool beers. One of which, a lot on the cruise that we had, was from Alaska Brewing.
Yep.
Alaskan Brewing. I mainly had the Icy Bay IPA. Ron, what was the one that you barely?
The golden? Oh no, the white. The white,
yes.
which was a Belgian wit.
So in Juneau, I believe they had a Alaskan Brewing like outlet store. Basically, sold a whole bunch of the gear. We brought you back a little something, Blake, and I almost forgot until we started mentioning this.
I'm glad you saved it to the end after the beer. The terrible beer.
Knowing that you like IPAs, we brought you back a Alaskan Brewing T-shirt.
Oh, dude, I love it. Alaskan Husky IPA, Mosaic Indian,
Which
Pale
we did
Ale.
actually have. We had it in port at Ketchikan. They had it on draft. If I'm not mistaken, it was a really cool
That's
draft.
a comfy T-shirt.
Yeah, it was really comfy. The draft, the tap was this awesome husky head on the draft.
that's
tap. It's
awesome.
really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, gents.
You got it, man.
Anytime we go on adventures, we bring back souvenirs for the people.
Clearly,
that
because
go.
we still have Japanese team scarves all over our studio now. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and from Beijing and Germany.
And we got Portland that was brought to us.
Portland,
from Matt,
Toronto
yeah.
FC.
Oh, I love the polar bear tap. That's cool too.
I asked for that one too, but that one was all tapped out and they were done. But
That's awesome. Well, again, follow us on Untapped. You see all this cool stuff.
Hashtag adventure beers.
That's right. And I think that wraps us up, gents. 99. 100's next. We'll figure out
I'm
something.
so nervous.
I got 99 problems, but a
beer.
beer ain't one.
There you go. Well, no. Moo Thunder's one.
Yes.
All right, three.
Yeah, three. Moo Thunder, Snapperhead, and what was the other one?
Pork slap.
Pork slap. Whee! Yep, there we go.
Man, thunder.
Oh, woof.
We didn't
On
even
that-
come up with something for Snapperhead. It was so
So bad.
I think I believe it just included a lot of explicit, like, the F-bomb
It
was
was
dropped
like
a lot.
it was like vomitous backwash. Ugh, it was
Yeah,
so
what we did for that
gross.
one was I broke a record. It took me forever to edit the episode, put bleeps in. It was crazy.
That was that episode.
I was so angry. All right, gents.
Cilantro.
99, 100 next. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game. Oh, this beer tastes so much better.